It's time to get this wall decorated and looking good. I'm going to head down to my local hardware store and pick up a lightweight 5mm piece of plywood. I'm only going to need 2 for this project. It's a one-person job. I love it. We'll set that in place, get it marked. We're going to start cutting. First thing I'm going to do is use a guide. This is going to be clamped on and it's going to allow my saw to make a straight, even cut all the way down. It's going to be really nice to get this cut. These are my last boards to cut. Look at those. Came out the perfect width every time because I used a guide. First things first, I'm going to head over to the miter saw. I'm going to cut the frame that's going to go around the whole wall. It's going to be a baseboard on the bottom and 2 side pieces. I'm going to nail those in with a brad nail, but I noticed I've got a problem on one of the sides. One of the issues I have is where the trim needs to go around the countertop, but I've got a solution. I'm going to take this simple device that I got and I'm going to slide it right against, look at that. And that's going to give me the perfect angle. I'm going to put this guide against that side piece. I'm going to mark it out and then I'm going to turn to the jigsaw. This is going to be the easiest way to cut it out. Once I do that and sand it, put it on with a brad nail, I'm ready to get going. So it's always best to find the studs in the wall because that's where we're going to nail our shiplap to. But if you don't have a stud finder, watch this cool trick. I'm going to take a magnet and I'm going to go in all different directions. And look at that. I found a screw that holds the drywall. I can mark the top and the bottom. And look at that. I'll go all over the wall, look for the studs, and I'll be able to nail into those, making the shiplap secure. The next step, I'm going to measure in between both those side pieces and cut those slats that I cut earlier. I'm going to make sure they're perfectly fit between both. Using a level, I want to make sure that I also nail straight into the studs because that's what's going to make it the strongest and keep it attached to the wall. And guess what? I'm going to use paint sticks as my spacers. By using spacers, I'm going to know that it's the perfect spacing between each one of these. Again, going out, cutting each piece the perfect size and working my way down. As you notice, I did start at the top. Once I get all the way down, look at this. It's absolutely beautiful, but not done yet. I'm going to fill in some of those nail holes with some easy to go putty. Fill those in, let them dry, give it a little sanding, and then I'm going to caulk the sides. This is really going to look good once I'm done. Don't worry if it looks gappy, just use your finger, smooth it right out. And then guess what? Some high quality paint. It's going to make this thing look great. I didn't want to paint in between the slats because I wanted to give it a little bit of a different color. That old color on the wall is coming right through. But as you can see, it's turning out great. I did put 2 coats on. It's going to look super good here. But guess what? I wanted to finish it off with a custom little shelf up here that I used out of some of those slats that I had left over. I'm going to stain it. Looking great. And then guess what? The next step is to start decorating it. And I think it turned out really awesome. I love the shelf and this easy to do shiplap looks amazing. I hope you like this project as much as I did.
Before you spend money on expensive tile, check out this $100 idea. I used shiplap and cut it to size the length of my kitchen wall. And then I painted it using a paint sprayer. You can paint it by hand using a brush, but it just takes a little bit of extra time to make sure that you get all of the tongue sections painted well so that when the shiplap goes together, the color doesn't show any white at all. I placed my first piece in the kitchen and I made sure to mark where the outlets were. I needed to cut just the little tongue part of the shiplap to make sure that it would not go over the outlet area. I did this using a tool called a multi-tool. It worked well for me and was really quick. Once I notched out that section of the tongue, I simply placed the shiplap in place and secured it using a nail gun. Normally with shiplap, I only apply the nails at the tongue part of the shiplap because then it gets covered up by the next piece and I don't have any nail holes anywhere in my projects. I added my next piece and again marked where my outlets were on the wall. This time I cut the shiplap accordingly and then added those into place using the nail gun. I continued this way up the wall. It took me 4 pieces of shiplap to get to the top of the backsplash and fit right underneath the cabinets. Next, I did the same thing in the area behind the stove and cut the wood to go all the way to the next wall. Next to the refrigerator, I also added the shiplap pieces going around my outlet once again. After that, I put my new appliances in and added little trim pieces to the edges to give my project a finished look. The entire project took only 8 pieces of shiplap total, which ended up costing well under $100 and taking only a couple of hours to complete the project from start to finish. I hope this project inspired you to use shiplap as a backsplash and see how easy and fun it can be. This condo had popcorn ceilings that I didn't want to scrape off and retexture, so I decided that I wanted to try my hand at installing shiplap on the ceiling. I cut my shiplap pieces to length, and then I got them ready for installation. I wanted to point out here that there's an orientation to shiplap boards. The boards, when placed together properly, have a nickel-sized gap between them. The next step was to make sure that I could identify the studs or trusses, basically supportive pieces of wood up in the ceiling that I would be attaching the shiplap boards to. The last thing I want is a piece of board to fall on top of someone while they're sleeping in the middle of the night. We used studs to find the location of the wood. Then we used a chalk line to try to mark this. Then, in order to just double check things, I would go back with a screw just to make sure that I was going into wood. The next step was to place construction adhesive on the back of the shiplap, and then, using a nail gun, attach this to the ceiling. Once we got into the groove of things, it went pretty quickly, and then I needed to cover up the nail holes using a little bit of caulking. Once the room was complete, the next step was going to be to add trim along the sides to cover up the gaps. As much as I try to get the boards the same length, sometimes there's a bit of variation in the cuts, and sometimes in the wall, or sometimes just where I place the board. So this trim piece kind of covers for that. I made sure to miter cut the corners of the trim pieces at 45-degree angles so that they would fit together properly in the corners. I attached these again using construction adhesive and the nail gun. Once the trim pieces were attached, I then used caulking to seal the little gaps at the corners and also ran a bead of caulking along the outer edge because I wanted it to look finished and seamless. The ceiling looked great, but it definitely needed some paint to finish it off and make it look clean and bright. So I used ceiling paint that only required one coat of paint and painted it using a roller, and then I was done. I love the way it looks. The nickel gap spaces between the shiplap is perfect, the edges look really nicely finished due to the trim and the caulking, and the whole room has more of a coastal type of feel perfect for this Florida condo. I hope that this inspired you to cover up your old popcorn ceilings in a unique way.
Hi my lovelies! Today's video we are going to transform this wall in my husband's studio and we are going to place a rustic wood wall on it. This DIY is really the easiest DIY we've ever done, and basically what these panels are, they come in a pack of 6 and they are around $11 at Home Depot. They are the click type of paneling, so you can just click them in and it is so simple to put up. All you really need is a nail gun. If you don't have a nail gun, you can definitely just use screws and a hammer. That'll definitely work. My husband is definitely enjoying this DIY and how easy it is. All you have to do is use your nail gun, and look how quick and easy it is to put this wood up. It is a really fun DIY and a perfect way to add character to your room. So just make sure you measure, and sometimes you might not get it the first time, because I know with this piece it was really hard for us to actually get it perfect because this end piece right there, Daryl was trying to punch it in, tap it in. He used a roller to try to hit it in, and it just was not working. So after 5,000 attempts, he decided to just cut it again. And you will need some wood stain. I have dark walnut and fruit wood. I mixed these two to get the perfect color. So first just open it, and I am using a straw to stir it around, and you will see the difference here on what it's supposed to look like. And also just stir around your other stain. And now you just make your concoction. I went with a little bit more of the light color because my husband wanted a more light color than dark. So now I just mix the two and get the perfect color. It looks really, really cool to me. I love staining. It's like a hobby of mine. So I really look forward to this part. And I am using this new stain pad for the first time. It was horrible, guys. I always use a rag. I don't know what I was thinking trying to be all fancy with the stain pad. But as you see here, the rag definitely does its part. I am just using the stain pad to get the excess stain that was left over because I don't want to waste anything. But I hated that thing. I definitely do not recommend it. I definitely recommend you just using a rag. It works best. It penetrates in a lot better. So definitely use a rag and go with the grain. Like you're seeing here, I am going in a line. I never like to go in circles or just go in different directions. The best thing to do when staining is to always go with the grain. Now you may use the rag and you may go in different directions for a couple of seconds, but you always should go back to staining in the direction of the wood. And this is what I use the paintbrush for. I use it on the corners and it just works very, very well. Just make sure you mix it in to where it goes with the stain. You don't want to be able to tell that something else was used while blending it. But you guys, this is a perfect way to add some character to a room. This accent wall was made for less than, I'd say, $40.